All right, Libra, it is time for your December 2019 general reading. I've already got the cards drawn for you. We'll be using the vice versa tarot, which is this one here. I'll go ahead and get started. We have a lot of major arcana in this reading. We actually had 6 cards come out, so this is a very current reading. The first card that we have is the Magician, the World in reverse, Judgment in reverse, we have the Moon card, we have the Hierophant, we have the Nine of Cups, we have the Nine of Swords, we have the Eight of Wands, we have Temperance, and the Knight of Cups. So the first thing you'll notice in the Magician card is that we're starting off, there's actually a comet here in the background. He's holding up a candle that's burning at both ends, and he's got symbols for all of the elements on the table. Something else that's really interesting about this card is there's lilies as well as roses. So it's like lilies are usually presented, I want to say it's like at funerals and things like that, but it can also be like rebirth, new life, and then roses of course are love and romance. So it's very much this card is all about making things what you want them to be. We also have the World card in reverse, and you can see there's a red candle and a blue candle on either side, but there's not really, like if you're looking at the World card, the front of the World card, there are the symbols and other signs represented in the corners, but if you are looking at the back, there's no one there. Like it's representative of your aura almost, and really being present with oneself. And whenever I see the red and blue or the gold and silver, yin and yang, it makes me think about balance between masculine and feminine. So in this case, it's being very present with yourself, and with the Magician here, also being in a place of creating everything that you want. We also have the Judgment card here in reverse. And you can see there's a man, woman, and child facing an archangel. But in this case, they're kind of walking towards it. If you look at the other side, they're turning their back on their graves. So this is not, and you can see from the front, they each have something in their hands, but you can kind of still see that in the back. But the thing that's important about that is it's almost makes me think about presenting your gifts, presenting your talents, and the archangel being a representative or a symbol of, I want to say ascendant masters, and that's not even something that I usually say, but I'll usually go with spirit guides, but this one specifically makes me think about ascendant masters. So it is like this is really being on your path. We also have the Moon card here, which is represents Pisces. Let me double check that. Yeah, so that is Pisces. But again here, what I was talking about with them presenting the gifts, again, she's presenting the gifts with a bowl in one hand and the orb of light in the other. And again with the towers, you can see that you can see that there's nothing to fear there, as an homage almost to a tower moment. Like in this case, she has her back to it. It's not something that she's worried about. And there is the dark moon behind her. With the Hierophant, it speaks to a spiritual journey. We also have the cross here with the serpent wrapped around it, which is a reference to a story about healing. And then we have the keys here, both gold and silver. This is healing of the masculine and feminine. I think it's also interesting that this was referenced twice. So it's not just a balance and healing of masculine and feminine, but also like a healing of the heart space, a healing of the mind. With the Nine of Cups, we see here that the emotional journey is almost finished. When I say almost finished, I don't mean that there's nothing more to come. I mean, it's in this cycle, you are nearing the conclusion of this cycle as far as the emotional journey. And when I say that, I think about cycles as in going up a flight of stairs and getting to a landing, right? Every time you get to a landing, that's the end of a cycle and also the beginning of a new cycle. So every time you get through that, this is like you're on the last step before you get to the landing, and then you're going to begin a new cycle. We also have the Nine of Swords, and in here you can see that there is a bit of worry and a bit of concern on his mind. And he's gazing at the swords, and we know that swords are air, it's a way of thinking. And he's very focused on them, but you can also see that there's light coming through. And if we turn the card around, you can see there's a shadowy figure here, and he's actually facing a window, right? And so it's like, this is the vice versa tarot deck. So there is another side to this. Instead of being so focused on the things that are causing you concern, be aware that you do have a guide here, and there is light to be seen. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Don't focus so much on the concerns, but focus on the end goal. And I think here that is your biggest struggle, right? With the Eight of Wands, that's your biggest struggle. But again, when you turn the Eight of Wands around, there's the lightning strike, there's that Pegasus, there's flying over the storm, there's wish fulfillment with the lightning strike. Temperance. All of this is really great stuff, but it's important to remember to maintain balance. You have everything you need here to succeed. This is a really powerful, really beautiful conclusion. But what's important to remember is to approach everything with temperance. Don't push yourself too hard. When I say push yourself too hard, I mean don't overwork yourself. Don't be overcritical of yourself. Do not beat yourself up for being human. There can be a lot of impulse to be perfect, and it's important that we have temperance there, because it is a process, it is a journey, and there is no perfection is a fallacy. It is better just to move forward. Take the lessons for sure. I'm not saying don't learn lessons or don't learn from experiences, but don't hold on to the negative from the experience. Take the lesson and move forward into the next cycle. We also have the Knight of Cups, and he's coming up out of the water, and there's a fish over his cup, and his cloak is almost part of the water, and you can see that the sea is calm. He is emotionally balanced. There's still an emotional journey and process here, because but it's not immature. Like the page energy can be very young, very immature, but with the Knight here, it's a very active energy, but it is still grounded. He's still grounded. Ultimately, there's a lot happening here, but the important takeaways are: you have the power to make your life what you want it to be. you're in a very balanced energy space where other people's energy isn't just buffeting you over and over and over again. You are coming with your gifts. Your guides are working on your behalf. You have your gifts to give to the world. The tower moments are right at this time. The tower moments are behind you. Like, there's nothing there to fear. You really see the obstacles in front of you are not obstacles. They're really just challenges, and there's nothing to fear in them. You are in a place of deep healing. You are nearing the completion of an emotional cycle. There's this new beginning here. I say new beginning, it's like the beginning of a new cycle, but you've grown so much through that cycle. And the things that you are worried about, ultimately, you will have victory over them if you just carry on with temperance and maintain the balance. Libra, I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.